I'll start with Wisconsin losing to Alabama. I was off by 3 on each team. I guessed 45-13. It was 42-10, and the game went about as I expected. Obviously prayers up for Tyler Van Dyke, who had a non-contact injury. I don't know as of recording what it was. It's non-contact. It was knee. It was his knee. That never is a good sign. So I don't want to speculate, but I would not expect that it's a short-term injury. That being said, the game went about as I expected. Wisconsin stayed in it early. Alabama forced some mistakes. They got the fumble recovery when it was 7-3. Ches Malusi had a big run, but it was upended by a fumble. And they kind of just leaned on Wisconsin a little bit. Wisconsin really struggled to string together explosive plays. And then at the end of the half, it went from 14-3 to 21-3, and it was over. And at that point, Wisconsin just could not stop the avalanche. And Alabama controlled the game from that point. Couple things that I want to highlight. I've been dogging Luke Fickell a bit, and I want to try to be as sober-minded as possible with him. I thought Wisconsin did a few things well in this game. I thought at times the defense played better than I expected. In the first half, I thought they really did a good job of limiting explosive plays up until that last 36 seconds of the first half. I thought that the back seven played well. I thought the linebackers played really well, played the run well, and it's tough to contain a running game with a mobile quarterback. And listen, Jalen Milroe has really improved as a passer. I mean, he is deadly. Joel Klatt was talking about it all game long. His down the field accuracy. I just thought he was phenomenal in this game and has played much, much better. End of last season into this season, he has really, really become a good passer, especially down the field. And so for the back seven to do as well as they did in the first half, I thought the D line played well. I thought the offensive line did a good job up front for Wisconsin. They were able to gash Alabama several times in the running game, which I thought it was really good. So I thought there were good things about this. I also thought Luke Fickell was aggressive at times, right? They went for it on third. They went for a shot on third down. They went for it on fourth down. Like there were plays where Wisconsin didn't turtle, and they may not have gotten it, but I thought it was a good sign that Luke Fickell was aggressive, knowing that to stay in the game, they had to be aggressive. So those are a few nice things I want to say about the Badgers. I'm still very concerned about Luke Fickell. Let me talk about the aggressive plays, because I'm sure Badger fans are like, yeah, but the aggressive plays were in the wrong spot. I agree. I'm glad that he did it, because in previous spots, he has not been aggressive until it's been too late. But I don't think he managed the game well. I thought the first fourth down conversion, I get that you don't want to get your second string quarterback injured, but man, just run, like QB sneak that thing. Like make sure you get the first down. I thought on the play at the end of the half, I think it was 3rd and 5. This is before this. It's 14-3, and they go deep, which I'm like, I really like the deep shot idea. Don't do it on third down. Don't do it when it's 4 down territory and when you're on the cusp of your field goal kicker's range. Because what happens is, instead of running clock and being able to clock, if you don't get the first down and you don't like your option for fourth down, you can take a timeout or clock it with a few seconds left, leave Alabama no time to respond, and you kick a field goal. And at worst it's 14-3, maybe 14-6. Instead, you go for it, you stop the clock, and not only that, you leave time. You miss the field goal, and now it's a 10-point swing the other way, and Alabama gets the ball back. Like, it was poor management, poor complementary football. And instead of it being 14-6 or 14-10, or at worst 14-3, it's 21-3. And all the momentum's with the Tide. Like, the game was over at that point. Like, there's nothing that they were going to do. So I thought they were aggressive in the wrong spots. I think the other thing that just really concerns me is that Braden Locke is your number 2. He pushed Tyler Van Dyke all of camp, and he's not any better than he was a year ago. Like, he can't push the ball down the field. He really struggles to do that. He was inaccurate. Now I get it. He's cold coming off the bench, but I mean, he was really inaccurate. Like, that really is a concern. And it's the reality is Tyler Van Dyke wasn't going to be much better. Right? Like, he was playing okay, but like, their game plan, it was a lot of short passing early when Van Dyke went out, and they were trying to do the same thing. They don't have the receivers to really get downfield. I think Will Pauling's really good as a slot guy, and he might be able to spring free. But here's my maybe overall concern is you want to run an air raid offense with a power run game. Your power run game wasn't great, and you didn't use it as much as I think you should have. Like, perimeter runs were kind of gashing Alabama for a bit, and you didn't really use it that much, or you didn't use it well. I thought you're trying to be an air raid, but you don't have a quarterback that's accurate. You don't have receivers that can really beat guys deep. Like, why is this your offense? And so philosophically, I think it's not a good match. I don't think a lot of guys have developed from a year ago, which is a concern. And I just don't think Luke Fickell manages games well. And so I just, again, I hate to say it because I like Luke. I think he's a good guy. I'm not sure that he is Power 5 coach material. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope he improves. I don't think this is me saying they shouldn't have gotten rid of Paul Chryst. Paul Chryst is part of the reason why the recruiting was not as good and they don't have the playmakers. But if you're going to change a culture, much like Matt Rule is changing a culture in Nebraska, you better be able to develop your guys. And I'm not seeing a ton of development. It feels like a year ago. And, some of the guys in the comments, they were saying, and on Twitter, they were saying, I compared him to Scott Frost. They're like, Scott Frost is not the right comparison. I really like their comparison that this is Rich Rodriguez 2.0. You're bringing in a completely different style of football to a place that doesn't match that culture. And I'm not sure they can match it. Like, they have to develop it. And right now they haven't developed it. And honestly, Luke Fickell has never been an air raid guy up until bringing in Phil Longo. So it just doesn't feel right. And I don't know if Fickell has to go back to the drawing board, if he fires Phil Longo and brings in a type of guy like someone at Michigan from a couple years ago, where you're like a Sharon Moore, where you're saying, hey, we're just going to be physical up front. That's who we're going to be. And we're going to go play action pass. That's the Wisconsin way. So I'm very pessimistic about the Badgers moving forward.